Hey everybody, this is your kettlebell strength workout. In terms of equipment today, you will need 1 to 2 heavier kettlebells. For reference, I have a set of 25s here. You could also do this with dumbbells, but because this is part of our 4-week intro to kettlebell program, I am going to keep this very specific to kettlebells in terms of my cueing. Now this workout, if you are doing it within the actual program, is supposed to be a measure of your strength each week. So this does repeat weekly, and it's not necessarily that we're working on specific kettlebell skills here. This is simply a way to show you that you can use kettlebells in your basic strength exercises. So we do have a warm up. Let's make our way down there. So starting laying on the back, we've got some very basic heel taps. We're going to bring the knees up into tabletop, tilt the pelvis so your low back is down, flexing through those heels. We'll take a big inhale as the right heel comes down to tap the floor. Exhale back up. As we're going through these, knees stay in line with the hips and low back stays down. We inhale out. Exhale back up. If you want to make this a little more challenging, you can reach the arms up over the chest. You can even protract those shoulders up off of the mat. Making sure here that we're hinging from the hip rather than just bending at the knee. Let's go for 2 more on each side. Last 2. And last 1. Very nice. Place those feet on the floor, arms come down by your side. We're gonna drive the hips up to the ceiling and tap back down, keeping that nice neutral spine and working for some nice controlled tempo here. As we come up, make sure the knees don't bow out. So I want you to imagine there's like a yoga block in between your thighs, so you're just squeezing in on that. Let's go for 5 more. Same thing if you wanna progress this. Arms come up over the chest. You can also reach those shoulder blades up off the mat, getting a little bit more space through those upper posterior ribs. We got 2 more here, I think. Last one, we're gonna hold it up. Good, let's everyone bring the arms down to the ground for stability. Walk your feet a little closer. We're gonna lift the right leg up, hold. Good, place it down. Left leg up, hold. Very nice, so the goal here is to resist rocking the hips side to side. And again, find that nice little squeeze of the inner thighs at the top. Let's go 4 more. We have 4. We switch 3. Good, switch 2. Last one, switch 1. Very nice, both feet down, drop it down. We're gonna flip onto that left arm into a little side plank leg hold. So bottom leg is bent, top leg straight, elbow right underneath the armpit. We'll take a big inhale, lift the hips up, reach that top arm to the ceiling. Once you feel comfortable, we're gonna lift this top leg and hold. Pull the toes up to the shins, and I want you to resist turning out from the hip. So really find that neutral hip positioning. Keep pressing the floor away and try to get your little wrist bone down on the ground. It's gonna give you much more shoulder stability. Good, so what should we be feeling here? A little bit of everything, probably some shoulder, maybe some oblique, maybe some glutes here. We're almost out, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, right to the other side. So right arm down, left leg long, big inhale. Exhale, lift up. We'll lift up that top leg and hold. Good, again, turning that front toe down. You might feel like you're internally rotating. It's probably just neutral. Good. Now, second side is always harder because your glutes are working in both sides. So now your glutes are a little fatigued, all right? We're almost out. Keep pressing the floor away. Reach up tall for 5, 4, 3, 2, lower it down 1. Let's flip over into a bear plank. So on the hands, on the toes, knees are underneath the hips. We'll lift those knees up and we're gonna go for a row here. Now, if this starts to irritate your knees, all you have to do is walk your feet back. Just make sure that they're wide for some stability. So right side first, we're gonna row up, bring it down. 4 more. Try not to twist to the side. So I'm resisting that rotation and I'm creating my own tension. 1 more, don't let your hips pike up. Bring it down, shake it out. I'm gonna turn just so you can see a little bit better, but let's go for the other side. So pick your plank of choice. We lift it up, left arm, elbow to hip, and down. Notice that I'm not rowing up here. I wanna keep it nice and controlled toward my midline. We got 2 more. Last one. Woo, good. All right, we have 1 more thing in a plank. So I'm rolling up my wrists. And then we're gonna stand it up for some swings. So I wanna make a little bit more space in the hips. We're gonna take the hands underneath the armpits, find our plank, feet are about hip distance apart. We're gonna come into a loaded beast flow. So booty comes back toward the heels. I want you to try and shine your tailbone to the back wall. From here, hips lift up. Big stretch through downward dog. Roll through your spine, drop down, find your plank. Make sure we don't end in a cobra. We got that 4 more times. Inhale, shine your tailbone back. Exhale, lift up. Roll through the spine, drop into your plank. 3 more in your own time. Finish out your last one. If you beat me, you're holding that plank. And stands it on up. All right, we're gonna grab one of our kettlebells. So grab something that you would swing with. Let's say you've never done a kettlebell swing before. We're gonna quickly break this down, but this is something that you'll cover in the program if you're following along in our kettlebell skills programming. So we're gonna start with our feet up against the kettlebell. We take 1 step back, we open up, find your nice triangle, all right? If you are already in your skills program and you have the progression that you're working on, that's what you're gonna focus on here. Otherwise, we're all gonna tilt the bell back, bring the hips down and pull back. Squeeze the armpits down. So we should have tension through the arms, tension through the hips and the hamstrings. We'll take a big inhale. We're gonna hike the bell, push, hike, push, hike, push, all right? You can land it down. And we're gonna do that all together. So here's what we're gonna do. We have 2 sets of 10. We'll do 10 swings, rest for 15 seconds, 10 more swings. I want you to act like this is the heaviest kettlebell or thing that you've ever swung before to really ramp up that intensity, okay? Let's go for it. So find your nice strong start, bring the hips back, squeeze the armpits down, hike that bell, push, hike, push, hike, push. Once you get to 10, you land it as strong as your start. And relax. All right, 15 seconds here. We're gonna do it one more time. Big thing I want you to focus on here is just tension, okay? Again, we're gonna cover all of the basics of our skill work in our skills programming. This is really just to get our neuromuscular system fired, getting ready for some deadlifts, okay? So create that tension through the lats, through the core, through the hamstrings. 10 more swings, then we're moving it on to some strength. Land it strong when you're done. And take a breath. All right, y'all. So we're gonna jump right into our strength supersets. Grab both of your kettlebells and I will meet you on the floor. All right, y'all, so we're jumping into the bulk of our strength work. Today we're working in 2 supersets. So supersets are 2 exercises done back to back with no rest, and then we will take rest in between each round. We're gonna perform each of these rounds 3 times. So let's talk about our first exercises. We're gonna start with a good old fashioned deadlift. If you have 2 kettlebells, I want you to really challenge your strength here. So you're gonna hold the weights right underneath of you, okay? As much turnout in the toes as you feel is comfortable. We're gonna hinge it over, pull the hips down. Again, take all the slack out of the arms. From here, we'll take a big inhale, exhale, drive the floor away. Inhale, tap the weights back down. Let's say you're only working with 1 heavy kettlebell today. You're just gonna do the exact same thing, but standing on top of the weight. So we're gonna bring it down. Again, pull the hips back. So we're biasing the glutes and hamstrings. Break the bar, all the way up, all the way down. No matter which variation you're taking, I want you to imagine you're placing the weights behind you rather than in front of you, okay? After that, we're gonna come down for a single arm chest press. But let's actually just start here. So we're gonna do 8 reps here, then we'll make our way down to the ground. So right on top of your kettlebells or kettlebell, we find our nice strong hinge, break the bars, exhale, and up. Inhale, tap, place those weights behind you as you come down, exhale up. The reason I like that cue of placing behind you is because it's gonna take the work out of the low back, keep it in more of the glutes and the hamstrings. Once you hit 8, you come all the way down. And bring it down. All right, grab one of your weights. If you need to go a little bit lighter for this, totally fine, but we're only doing 8 reps on each side. So we're gonna start with the kettlebell on one side of us, finding our fetal position. Whatever arm is working, so I'm gonna do my right arm first. That hand is on the bottom. We'll take a big inhale. On your exhale, flip to your back. Bring the weight up over the shoulder. From here, opposite arm comes to the ground. We're going for that single arm chest press. So we bend at the elbow, finding that nice 45-degree angle. Bring it back up. Inhale down, exhale up. Press everything into the ground for some added stability. Once you hit your 8, you're gonna roll it back onto your side. If you're with me, we've got 3 more. Last 2. Last 1. Good, pull the weight into the chest, roll to the side. To get to the other side, we grab the horns. You bring it around the head, all right? Better than passing it over the chest because you might drop a weight on your face. All right, find the other side, up to the ceiling. Inhale down, exhale up. Watch your wrist in this position. If your wrist is starting to fold backwards, I want you to think of curling forward instead. Kettlebells are gonna be really challenging for your wrist strength, but also super beneficial. If you're with me, we have 2 more. Good, pull it into the chest, roll to the side, and we're gonna take a minute here. Let the heart rate come down. So, 1 minute in our rest time. We're gonna do this 2 more rounds. Let's talk about a few specifics. This round, I want you to focus on breath. Why is breath so important? It's gonna directly tell your core what it should be doing. So as we inhale, which I'll talk about when we do that, we're expanding through the core, creating a lot of insulation. On that exhale, we're engaging everything, okay? So I want you to imagine your core or your midsection moving throughout the exercises. We have 30 seconds left of rest, and I really want you to take it to let that heart rate come down. Like I said, this is a strength workout. We're putting 2 opposing muscle groups together so that the original muscle group can really recover. So if you have access to heavier weights, I want you to really push it, okay? Let's start to get ourselves set up. If you're noticing that you maybe don't have weights that are challenging at that 8 rep range, maybe you do 10 reps. Maybe you go to 12 reps, okay? Maybe that's something that you do as you progress throughout this month if you are following this program. So just keep that in mind and let's get it started up. 8 more reps in your own time. So we inhale, exhale to stand. Inhale down, exhale to stand. Keep that going. That's your big focus on round 2. Get down, girl, go ahead. Once you hit 8, you bring it down to the ground. Take your time getting there. There's no rush. There's a reason that we're working for reps and not for time. A, I want you to really push your strength toward that higher limit. B, I want you to get really comfortable in these skills without worrying of rushing throughout the exercise. Inhale down, exhale up. Once you hit 8, you pull it down. You roll to the side, grab the horns, bring it all the way around. Again, there is no rush with any of this. I would rather you have more rest time so that you can really figure out the time with these skills rather than rushing through. After your last one, you pull it into the chest, roll to the side. We'll take another minute here. So we have 1 more round. We just focused on our breath. Let's talk about this last round. I want you to focus a little more on the technique. So let's talk about some of those things. We already talked in our deadlifts of placing those weights behind us, right? I'm gonna challenge you now this time to make sure that you can feel your hamstrings before you even lift up. So how do we do that? So we find our hinge We pull it down. A lot of times when people pull down, see how I'm really upright here. I want you to think of pulling your knees back. And you should feel a little stretch in those hamstrings. So that's what I want you to try and find every single time. Really drilling in that technical aspect. For our actual chest press, I want you to make sure, technique-wise, we're not coming out at that full field goal or 90-degree angle. That's gonna be a little too much strain on your shoulder. So I want you to instead think of twisting to that 45 degrees, okay? Let's do it. Final round here, and then we're moving on to our second superset. So, hinge it over, bring it down, pull your knees back. Do you feel your hamstrings? Squeeze those armpits, big inhale. Exhale, drive the floor away. Keep that going. Once you hit 8, or whatever rep range you are working with today, you make your way down to the ground. Whew. All right, chest press. So, things we're thinking about: breath, inhale down, exhale up. Technique, make sure we're coming out at that 45-degree angle, not the 90. You're actually gonna realize how much better it feels. It's gonna feel like you're actually in the right place. Once you hit your 8, you roll it to the side, you bring it around town. Yes, that's a SpongeBob reference. Let's go. And once you hit your last rep, you get to take a breather. All right, y'all. So we're gonna stand it up, come into our second superset of exercises. So let's make our way there now. All right, second superset. So you get a little bit of rest here as I explain these next exercises. We're gonna start with an offset reverse lunge. So if you do not know how to clean the weight onto the shoulder yet, let's break down how we're gonna get this weight there. We bring the weight right in between the feet. We're gonna hinge it over just like our deadlift. From here, I want you to pull your elbow back, catch the weight, slide it up onto the shoulder. If you know how to do a full dead clean, that's what you're doing. From here, we're gonna move that same leg that the side has the weight on. That was almost English. So I have the weight on my right side. My right leg is gonna move first. So I'm gonna step back, tap it forward, step back, tap it forward. If you're realizing that this racked position is a little bit too challenging for you, you can hold it low, but this position is gonna challenge your shoulder and core a lot. We wanna make sure elbow's tucked in, wrist is flexed forward, all right? After that, we do 8 reps on each side. We're gonna bring it into a gorilla row, which we can do. We'll demo that in a minute, so let's do these first. So we're gonna start right on top of that weight. Let's do right arm, so right leg is moving. We hinge it over. I'm gonna show you the assisted clean. Bring it up to the shoulder, feet come together. 8 reps on that right side. So right leg steps back. We tap it forward. Inhale back, exhale forward, good. As I'm coming through this, I'm kissing my knee to the floor, like a little peck. You do not need to touch your knee to the floor. That's gonna completely depend on your strength and your hip mobility, all right? 2 more if you're with me. Whew. Last one. Very nice, widen the feet. Bring that weight to the floor. Shake it out. Let's go right to the other side. So, left side, we hinge it over. Up to the shoulder, feet come together, left side is moving. We inhale back, exhale forward. I've got my other arm out here for a little added stability. Completely up to you. You're going to 8. Last one here if you're with me. Very nice, elbow back. Bring the weight to the floor. Beautiful, gorilla rows. We're gonna do this one arm at a time. I like to use my non-working kettlebell or my non-working side to just get myself back into a deeper hinge. So I'm gonna place my weights next to each other. Again, I'm starting with the right arm. Left arm is holding onto that kettlebell that's not working. I'm gonna tilt my bell toward me and pull my hips back. From here, I'm rowing and down, rowing and down. So as I'm rowing, I'm actively pushing away into my other kettlebell. You could also do this with a bench, a chair, something like that. But since most of us probably have 2 kettlebells we're working with, this is a good way to do it. We're gonna go 8 on each side, all right? So find your hinge, tilt your bell, go for it. Exhale up, inhale down. Very nice, and we'll switch to the other side. Ooh. All right, next time I'm just gonna turn around. That was a lot of effort dragging. So, push away the weight. We pull it back and down. Keep that back flat. Think like you're shining your tailbone to the back wall. 4 more if you're with me. Woo, all right. Let's put a minute rest on our clock, and then we'll come back to those reverse lunges. So, round 2. I wanna talk a little bit more about our tension, okay? Again, this is gonna directly relate to our breath work. So as we step back in that reverse lunge, big inhale, take your time. Exhale back up. A lot of times people just like to move with gravity on their lunges. Number 1, you're gonna mess up your knees. Number 2, you're not gonna find the stability to get back up with strength, okay? Gorilla rows. If you've ever taken class with me before, you know that I'm very particular about row technique. This is going to be a slightly more closed angle than if we were doing a strict bent over row. So we're bringing elbow into the hip. We're gonna get a lot more closed angle action and more bicep here, which means you can load this up pretty heavy if you have access to it, okay? Let's do it, 10 seconds. What are we doing? Reverse lunges, great. So, weight is on that right side. Let's rack it up. And go for it. Inhale back, control. Exhale, press forward. Once you're done, you switch right to the other side. Again, there is no rush with these. The best thing about this is that it's recorded. So if you need more rest time, if you need to take a little breather, you tap that pause button. Now, another way to get around that, if you need more of a breather, but you wanna stick to this time limit, you can always cut down the reps. We talked in the first work set of adding, you can always subtract and work your way up. Last one if you're with me. Whew. The best thing about this, especially if you're doing it within the actual kettlebell program, you do this every single week. So you have a lot of leeway for growth, okay? Get yourself set up. Gorilla row, let's go for it. Whew. Working smarter, not harder this time. Let's do it. Other side when you're ready. All right, 1 minute rest right here. And then we got one more round. We have a core finisher, then we're out of here. So I want you to take this full rest. No jumping jacks, no crunches, no anything in between. Again, this is a pure strength workout. You can hear, also because I've been cueing, heart rate is elevated, right? You can definitely tell that I've been moving. We want to take the next 40 seconds or so and bring that heart rate back down as much as we can. We're not working for cardio today. We're working for strength. Specific adaptations are only garnered from very specific programming, okay? So in through the nose, out through the mouth. And I promise you, if you're working hard in a strength workout, you will still feel like you worked hard, okay? Let's go for it. So 10 seconds, we're going reverse lunges. This last round, we're gonna talk a little bit more about technique, okay? So let's bring that weight up to the shoulder. Feet start together. As I step back, I want you to think of pulling your front knee back in line with that ankle, rather than pushing it forward. That's gonna do a few things. It's gonna be a little bit better feeling on your front knee for sure. It's also gonna ensure that we are recruiting some of that glute to help us stand back up rather than making it 100% quad. Nothing wrong with working the quads. We're doing that right now. But for the purposes of this exercise and the reason that I've programmed it, switch sides when you're done, I want us to focus on both. Let's do it. Other side. 8 reps. Three more if you're with me. Good, last 2. Last one. Woo. Bring it down. Set up for your rows. Again, take your time. I'd rather you be a little behind than rush through something with crappy form. Switch sides when you're ready. Let's do it. Woo. All right, y'all. We're gonna come into our core finisher. So finish out your rest or your reps. Take your rest, and I'll meet you down on the ground. All right, coming down to the ground for our core finisher, we're gonna work on resisting rotation or anti-rotation drills. We have 3 of them. They're progressive, so the great thing about this is that if you do not like the progression, you just stick with the version before, okay? First progression, we're doing a weight pull through. So ideally, we're doing this on the toes, nice and wide feet, or you can drop down to the knees if you need to. The weight is underneath my chest on my right side. So I'm gonna grab my left arm, pull it through, place it down. Notice that I'm resisting, rotating as I pull through. That is version number 1, okay? Toes or knees, we're gonna do this for 20 seconds, take 20 seconds rest, and then go into level 2. Wipe that sweat away, and let's start it up in 3, 2, and 1. So, pull through and down. This is not about speed, this is about precision. What are we getting precise about? The hips. If you have to rock side to side to get this done, I want you to drop the knees down. Just make sure those hips are down and forward, all right? We're out of this in 4, in 3, in 2, drop the knees down 1. All right, we're gonna add on, if that felt good. We have a weight pull through, and then that same arm is gonna tap the opposite shoulder. So it's a weight pull through, shoulder tap. Weight pull through, shoulder tap, all right? We started up in 5. We're going for 20 more seconds, then we have level 3, then we're done. Let's go for it. So, pull through, that same arm, taps the opposite shoulder. Pull through, tap the shoulder. Tap through, tap the shoulder. Whew. So we're increasing that time where you have to stabilize with just one arm. Again, if that doesn't feel good, cut the shoulder tap. 2 and 1, drop it down. All right, option 3, instead of a shoulder tap, we're gonna pull through, you go hand to opposite knee. So now we're taking it from 3 limbs to just 2, okay? Again, if you don't like that variation, go back 1. Ooh, this is it. We started up in 2 and 1. So it's a pull through, right to that knee. It's a pull through, right to that knee. Let's go, pull through to that knee. You got about 10 seconds here. Then we find that child's pose. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Widen the knees. Move your kettlebell. And let's sink back into that child's pose.
Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air.
And let's roll it up to seated. We're gonna give our wrists a little love. That was definitely very challenging on them today. So I'm gonna face the side so you can see. We're simply gonna pull down from those wrists and then pull up, trying not to get the fingers involved. So as we pull up, we don't wanna curl the fingers. Just moving through that flexion and extension. If you are a Fit Club member, and if you have not tried the wrist strength workout, I would definitely recommend that. It's a good complement to a lot of the work we're doing. We'll make some circles. Whew. And we'll take one final breath all together. Reach those arms up. Big exhale, pull it down to heart center. Take it with you for your day and make some noise. Fantastic work today. Any questions, as always, leave them below. And I will see you all in the next one.
It's cloud illusions I recall. I really